How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to the top 4 feature match. That hero deck that you guys saw in round 4, making it to top 4, and winning his way through top 8, beating Magical Muskets in top 8, and our striker Orcust player making his way through top cut as well into top 4. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a top 8 feature match. It is all good, though. We've got the top 4 feature match. Hero is leading the game here, getting started with Stratos, a very, very solid opening. And of course, that Vision Hero Ferris, making it even better when you, especially when you have that Shadow Mist as your discard. So be able to equip that increase from deck and be able to add, I believe, a hero from deck as well off of the Shadow Mist. So a very strong opening for heroes here. Very Omega consistent deck, adding Plasma and equipping that increase from the deck. You'll probably see the increase sending away the Ferris as it usually does. Attempt to summon that Vision Hero Vian, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring will say otherwise. Now, my good friend here, both actually people playing good friends of mine, but my friend on the left, very, very tilted by this hero deck, has been the bane of his existence over the past few weeks, struggling to find the right lynch point to stop this deck. So shotgunning that Ash Blossom there, immediately on that increase, stopping the Vian from coming out, but to his dismay, an E-Call being played, following up. Only he had a Droll and Lockbird in his hand at this point. And it looks like the rest of his hand is Gizmek, Mathman, Nightmare, and Upstart Goblin. So a pretty solid hand, if you ask me. Looks like he'll set one and pass. In the end phase, we'll see the Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher himself, banish 8 off the top, summon itself out. And it looks like he might have banished World Wand off that Gizmek, if I did see that correctly. Upstart Goblin being played. Not forgetting to edit in the 1,000 extra life points this time like I did in a previous feature match. My apologies. But he'll take the 1,000 for a free draw nonetheless if it means getting into a card like Orchestrated Return, which will discard that Harp Horror exactly where you want it in the graveyard. And drawing 2 more, picking up Rhoda and Climax, or the Crescendo rather. Most Loyal. So Rhoda attempting to activate, but as Chainlink 2, we'll see a copy of Mask Change, stripping away that increase. Going for Dark Law. Attempting to trigger its effect here, which it will. Anytime a card is added from the deck to hand while Dark Law is on the board, to be able to randomly banish 1 card from your opponent's hand. And I believe every card sent from the field or deck or hand, I think anything sent to the graveyard while Dark Law is on board is banished. So I believe he ends up hitting Nightmare out of his grave, but that clutch Gizmek Orochi that he got on the board during the end phase is going to banish 3 cards from the extra deck to clear it, no problem. Unfortunately, suffering 1 casualty. The Armageddon Knight did not get sniped, but even if it did, you still have Mathematician as a follow-up. But, of course, Armageddon Knight is a bit more versatile, being able to send a card like Nightmare to the grave instead, as opposed to, you know, things that aren't level 4 or lower. Banishing Harp Horror, he'll summon out that Symbol Skeleton, which, of course, is going to turn on the green light for that infamous Link 2, becoming more and more infamous, I should say. Galatea. So linking off the Armageddon Knight and the Symbol Skeleton for Galatea. Checking his banished pile. Yep, going for Galatea. Gonna recycle the Nightmare that was banished off the Dark Law. And already has that Crescendo in hand. Not going for Babel, but going for another copy of that World Legacy Return, or the Orchestrated Return, my bad, not the World Legacy Return, the Orchestrated Return. Linking off the Gizmek Orochi now and the Galatea for none other than the Longirsu. And Galatea being brought back by Symbol Skeleton. Now going to use the effect of Longirsu to return 2 banished machines to send a card that is linked on the field to the graveyard. So going to dump that Stratos to the grave, no problem. Looks like a Dingirsu play is next. But hasn't used Nightmare yet, so going to use that. And I believe that World Wand has been banished off Gizmek, so he won't be able to send that. So you're going to have to play without it. So he'll dump the Harp Horror to the grave to boost Galatea by 400, and then equip that Nightmare back underneath the Dingirsu. So his opponent up by 1,000 from upstart, but is able to start chipping away at that. So he'll swing for 22 and 26, dropping him down to 42 after all is said and done. And after he takes some damage on the Dingirsu, he'll go ahead and summon out that that increase to the spell and trap zone, as it does. Essentially being able to turn any monster he puts on the board into anything else, thanks to his effect. And he'll normal Avion. Really good normal summon here. Going to activate the Crescendo without hesitation. So unfortunately won't be able to chain the increase. And that looks like it'll be the end of his turn. Right then and there. One Crescendo was enough. And an Ash on the previous increase seemed like a pretty good way to slow this man down from having a productive turn. Not wasting any time using Harp Horror to summon out Symbol Skeleton. And with that being said, if you do nothing else, not risking anything to Nibiru, Phantasme, or evenly matched, whatever it may be, just going into battle phase, swinging in with the Symbol Skeleton, then the Galatea, and on that final attack of Dingirsu, pitching Dynatag, which will negate that next battle damage, but both players will suffer 1,000 burn damage, still holding on for dear life here. This hero player is doing absolutely everything in his power right now to survive for one more turn. And we'll see a Link summon. Might be a Link 4. Unsure, though, as of right now. The Nightmare, I believe, was, attached to the Dingirsu. Not the Symbol Skeleton, but I believe still going to link off. I think he does still end up linking everything off. And sticking with his original plan. So going for a Link 4 using Galatea, Dingirsu, and Symbol Skeleton for Topological Zeroboros. Topologic Zeroboros. And being able to resolve a copy of Engage now. Going for Widow Anchor, and he'll take a bonus card for sure. Go ahead and get that clutch draw there. Setting 2. And going to pass. Now, Zeroboros is up by a lot. Top decks a very clutch Stratos. Going to chain increase to tribute it away before it can be targeted by the Widow Anchor. So the Stratos will actually still go through. Our hero player is still our striker player frustrated by this. I mean, you kind of have to be. You've got everything in your power to try to shut him down. And he's still being able to pop off with these plays. So Stratos being able to dodge that Widow Anchor thanks to increase. Cosmic Cyclone will prevent it from coming out. He'll take the 1,000. Going to equip another increase. And our Orcust player says, you know what? I've had enough at this point. I'm bringing out the Gizmecha Orochi. I'm going to use Zeroboros. And we're banishing everything. If you have something, you have something. But unfortunately, he does not. So, Striker, Orcust, taking a somewhat demanding win here in round 1 or game 1. Literally having to do everything in his power to keep this hero deck at bay. Very, very impressive. But getting started nonetheless with Orchestrated Return. As it seems as though the hero player will want our Orcust player to go first. As, you know, Trinity is a card. Trinity Honest Neos is a hell of a duo. And then Harp will summon Symbol. Nightmare will dump Wand. Wand will summon out what looks to be Nightmare, actually. Thinking about Harp for a moment, but going for Nightmare instead. And of course, this is enough to get you into Galatea, which is what you really need. Foolish Burial and Orchestrated Return, very good combo. So of course, linking into the Automated Automaton. And returning the Harp Horror back to the deck to grab Crescendo. So we've already got one interruption established. Anything else at this point is just bonus. And slapping down that Babel, which some have been discussing as a ban-worthy card to prevent Orcust from playing on your turn. I think Engage needs to join it if it does end up getting banned. Or Engage at least going to 1. That card cannot stay at 3 or 2. I don't think those are viable options, but I think Babel going to 0 could be a good way to put a good check on Orcust without completely demolishing it, since it's released in Soul Fusion. But I think Babel could be a good check, prevent them from playing on your opponent's turn. Make it much more of sort of, you know, break my board type deck. Who knows how the deck would evolve from there. I'm sure people already have ways of playing with and without certain cards. But Galatea pass. No Dingirsu, of course. You want to keep that Crescendo live. 2 extra cards in hand still. A live Symbol Skeleton. A live Nightmare engraved, thanks to Babel. Vion attempting to resolve. It's clearly bait because Crescendo is used immediately. Ferris into Shadow Mist. Very, very strong. And we'll see an impermanence on the Ferris, but Shadow Mist will still be able to resolve, since it did successfully hit the graveyard. So far, 2 interruption burn, and our hero player still charging forward as it does. Now, will it be enough? Will this one search be enough? Going for a Dusted Gold, and there's the Droll and Lockbird, which essentially is going to say, you know, your turn may be over right now if you don't have the correct cards. Foolish Burial, though, being played. Again, another amazing card to have here. Must be nice. It's just one thing after another. You stop the Vion, he has the Ferris. You stop the Ferris, he's got the Shadow Mist. You Droll and Lock, he's got the Foolish. But you've got to really put a high impact card to the graveyard right now to try and make a difference. Putting that Galatea in the graveyard means it's only coming back next turn thanks to Symbol Skeleton. And with that Nightmare engraved, you've got to be careful in the battle phase because it does have that attack and defense modification. And we'll see him on the response, or on the resolution of that Foolish, being able to use Galatea to set an orchestrated return from the deck for more draws during the next turn. Gonna go ahead and use the Malicious now to banish itself, of course, doing what it does best and summoning another copy of itself from the deck. But a whopping 800 attack and 800 defense isn't going to do much to a Galatea that is being guarded by that Orchestrated Nightmare. So we'll go ahead and summon that. And what can you really do at this point? You could make a Cross Crusader and do some shenanigans there. But I'm not sure. I mean, Droll and Lockbird has to be affecting you a great deal at this point. Not being able to use a Dusted Gold probably hurts quite a bit. Not being able to search, period, probably hurts quite a bit as well. Debating if it's worth it entirely or not to make an additional play here, but he's deciding that he's actually going for the Extra Hero Wonder Diver. 1900 attack, which is enough to potentially get over Galatea. But Orcust Nightmare, of course, says otherwise. And in damage calc, going to send a Dark Machine to boost one monster in the field by the attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent times 100. So Galatea quickly jumping to 22. And then we'll see a Celestial Dial being summoned. And then banishing Mali to go for another play. These plays seemingly have no end to them. The Nightmare has been used, but he's going to now use Harp Horror, thanks to Babel. Be able to summon out Nightmare, and it looks like his turn will stop there, unfortunately. Would have loved to see more hero plays. And if you guys want to see a hero deck profile, I will try my best to get one this weekend. No guarantees, actually. Actually, I don't think our hero player will be at locals this weekend, so I don't think I will be able to get a profile this week, so I do apologize for that, actually. But hopefully we can get one sometime soon. I'll be trying my best to get it. But Orchestrated Return being activated right now, and then following up swiftly with an Engage. I believe 3 spells are in grave at this point. Now, if you're the Orcust player, you really want to try and end the game as quickly as possible. So take a bonus card. It looks like it's Orcust Nightmare. Following up with Drones. linking that token quickly into a copy of Kagari, and Kagari is going to go ahead and recycle one back, and it's going to be Engage again. Who would have guessed? But of course, cannot play Engage until he links off these two monsters. And as he's deciding what to do, I want to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelists. Don't forget to check them out down in the description below and use that discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order on some amazing playmat sleeves and dice like you see here on the left. There's a beautiful Millennium Ring playmat. And also don't forget to use my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below as well. Help support me in the channel a lot just by using that link. Requires nothing else of you other than just using that link. Much appreciated. So, Engage funness continuing here after linking up into Longgearsu. Has a copy of Allure in hand. Has an Upstart Goblin, which you might be hesitant to use, I should say. Allure of Darkness being played. Of course, now using Longgearsu to recycle back the two Banished Machines to send that Celestial Dial to the graveyard. Get it out of here. Picked up a copy of Lancia as well in the process. Normal summoning Armageddon Knight for turn. Still has a copy of Harp, or not Harp, but Nightmare and Symbol Skeleton engraved. So we're going to try and complete the puzzle here by dumping Wand off the Armageddon Knight. So has plenty of card advantage right now. Has a Gizmek in hand. Has an Upstart, has a Lancia. Going to use the Upstart. He'll gain the 1,000. No problem. Boosting him up to 87 this time. And still deciding how he wants to go ahead and get through this one Mali, which he can for sure do. Symbol bringing back Galatea. I mean, his hand is absolutely stacked at this point. Widow Anchor, Lancia, Gizmek Orochi. You've got to find a way to OTK at this point. And hopefully a Dynatag won't ruin your day is really what you're hoping for. Now going to use Nightmare. Targeting it looks like Longgearsu, even though that card won't be able to attack. And then using Harp to summon out Nightmare. Because he did only use Harp during the end phase of his opponent's previous turn, so still able to use it here now. And we could see a Borrelsword ding, which we might see right now. So there's Borrelsword, moving the Longgearsu to the zone where ding will be played. And then going to try to go for game here. 3K, 26. And then turning to defense for another 3K. But that Upstart, unfortunately, not making it game. But 100% still going to be game because of Gizmek Orochi sealing the deal. So, Orcust having to fight off heroes really, really hard. But nonetheless, still able to take the 2-0 victory here in top 4. And we will see the Striker Orcust deck in the finals in the next feature match video that you guys see, playing off against some Guard Dragon Pendulums. So be looking forward to that. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Imperium and TCG Player. All the links to that down in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, WinnerKills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.